What do insurance companies look for when they're about to deny your claim or when they have denied your claim? We're going to go through this video so that you'll be better prepared what the insurance company not only looks for, but what they start to think about. Because ultimately, they would love to deny your claim first and foremost. It's so much easier on so many different levels. My name is Mike Keeler. I'm a licensed public adjuster in the state of Florida. So a lot of people wonder why their claim got denied when for sure they thought it was covered. It's not about the damage a lot of times. It could be the details of the claim. And so I'm going to peel back some layers here and share with some red flags that the insurance companies look for. And as I previously mentioned, I represent people. And I've probably had over the years hundreds of claims that were denied that I help people with. So at one point also, years and years and years ago, I worked for an insurance company. So I have a little bit more of a background in knowing what these companies look for, what the adjusters look for, and their managers. And there's nothing more that they would like than to hurry up, deny a claim, and then close the file and get it off their desk and move on to the next claim. So you really have to get into the mind of how these insurance companies train people. All right. And the satisfaction that these adjusters get, kind of, when it's a denial of a claim. They feel like they're doing good for their daddy, being the insurance company. So we'll cover what they look for and how you can prepare for the biggest red flags. So what they look for is going to depend on the type of claim, what you initially told them, and if you had any previous claims. Now, these are just a few of the parameters, but these are some of the more important ones. So when it comes to, say, a storm damage, wind, hail, hurricane, tornado claim, they always look to see if the date you are reporting the claim, all right, does that coincide with the storm for the date of loss? Now let me preface that again as an example. Let's say there was a storm that had great winds or hail, whatever the case might be, on July 1st, 2024. Okay? You didn't know you had damage to your roof. Fast forward. It's now February 1st, 2025. You call because you realize you have a leak. Small leak in the garage, let's just say, or inside the home. Doesn't matter where it's located. You call, you file a claim on February 1st. Later that day, did you say the date of loss was on this? Or did you give them the date of loss of when you believe that storm was? That's important. This is what they look for. If you reported it right after the storm, let's use this example. Let's say you called on 7/9 of 24. Okay? You're okay. I'm sure you're going to be using that date because it's so soon. So one thing that the big red flag you have to be aware of is that with an older roof, if your roof is over 15 years old, over 10 years old, these insurance companies are going to say that damage is pre-existing, it's wear and tear, or they're going to have an engineer come to your home and he's going to write up a report against you and help the insurance company. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. All right, some red flags when you're talking about another very popular type claim, water leaks, whether it's a pipe break, an appliance line, water line, whatever it is. So the one thing they look for The adjuster, when he gets there, is there mold present? If so, they're going to determine that a long-term issue. See, long-term leaks are not covered in the policy, and we'll talk about that language. So if you say to them, the adjuster, when you called in your claim, that you don't really know what happened, you didn't know the leak was there, that's also bad. So that's going to set off a red flag. They're going to say you didn't know when this happened, so it wasn't sudden and accidental. Those are the two words that help a water damage claim get covered: sudden and accidental. Okay. So a lot of times too, red flag, pipe breaks. Sometimes they're going to say if it's an older pipe, older home, they'll want you to keep the pipe. If it's rusted and corroded, they're going to say it's wear and tear. So these are the common areas that the insurance companies look for when they're going to deny your claim when it comes to water leaks. So another area that they look for is what type of documentation you have, if you have any. If there is something to do with the water damage, water leak, and you don't have any type of plumber's quote unquote report, um, plumbers don't do reports, right? They have an invoice and they may put down what they replace. They pretty much keep it simple. Some that have to replace an entire piping system, they may get into more details. Um, but it's really just a short explanation of what was done or what needs to be done with an estimate or what the price was to fix it. If you don't have photos, it could be an issue with them. And if you quote unquote paid a friend to do the repairs, or if you did the repairs, that could draw a red flag, and that's what they look for. And that, the repairs, it could be to your roof, it could be anywhere in a house, from water damage, any other type of claim that you're reporting. So the other thing is they always look for the policy language to see if it's covered. If it's not, it's what they call an exclusion, and then they'll deny it. So a lot of times in water damage, as we just talked about, when we went over some of the red flags that they look for, the definition in majority of the policies for what is covered for water damage is sudden or accidental discharge or overflow of water. Sudden or accidental. So the long-term thing, which is what they look for all the time, is not. That's why this word sudden is so important. So you'll also know that some policies around the country are putting limitations for roof damage. And there could be some exclusions with regards to roof damage or the limitations. So all this gets taken in consideration. So probably the final nail in the coffin that they look for is you. You are a lot of times the determining factor in the claim based on what you said. Okay, what did you say? So this is the most understood aspect of any claim. Because the majority of time people say the wrong things 80% of the time. People are being honest when they're reporting the claim, and unfortunately, that honesty does not lead to a covered claim. I'm not saying you should be dishonest. I'm just saying that when people tell the true aspects of what happened in the claim, that can cause the claim, and it has caused claims to be denied. So here's an example with roof damage. Person calls in the claim. This happens a lot. It was a heavy rainstorm that day and I have leaks. Well, guess what? Rain isn't covered. Sometimes people will say, if you take this even further, this example, that, oh, a few years ago I had a roof repair. That's going to hurt you. As we talked about with the water damage, I didn't know the leak was going on. How am I supposed to know that if I didn't see anything? Well, that doesn't help. Doesn't help you out. Sometimes not as popular, but a lot of people will say during the summer months, well, we were gone for a couple months on vacation. We didn't know. Well, you got to be careful because there's a vacancy clause in your policy. Usually it's 60 days. Some policies it could be 45 or 30, but for the most it's 60 days. If your house is vacant for more than 60 days, anything happens to it, may not get covered. So that kind of wraps this up, gives you a look at all these different areas that and different types of claims that the insurance companies really look into as part of a red flag initiative, you can say, on why they're denying claims and why they do deny claims. So it's just a host of different things with regards to the claim. And then also sometimes the biggest factor is you, the homeowner, and what you say. So I've just armed you with the majority of the reasons why claims are denied. Now you can take that information and know before you file a claim what you're going to be up against if any of the parameters of the claims we discuss fit your claim. My name is Mike Keeler. I'm a licensed public adjuster in Florida. Thanks for watching this video. If you have a question or need help with a claim, here's my contact information.